got 1.5 acres along the Clark Fork River, just outside of Quinns, Montana. This is Highway 135 between St. Regis and Paradise. Really a special location in western Montana. This is located in Sanders County. My name's Miles McLaughlin with Wilco Land. I'm going to go over these two properties that we own. We actually own two adjacent lots, totaling about 2.6 acres. So we do have the next door property. It's 1.1 acres. That's also for sale. So in this video, I'll cover some common questions. I'll go over these properties and what I see about them, what I see in them, and talk a little bit more about land use, access, how you can go visit these on your own, and a little bit more about our business. So what we do here at Wilco Land, we specialize in raw land. And so we buy and then sell all of our properties, trying to educate customers on what these are, offering more of a self-service model. We do offer seller financing and some cash discounts for cash buyers. So can just clicking through some of these photos. This is truly a world-class location, right? There's very little private land ownership along Highway 135 in Montana. So that's a big emphasis we're putting on this. There's a reason there's Quinns Hot Springs down the block. There's a reason there's campsites, public river access sites. Flathead Lake is nearby, Thompson Falls, Whitefish, there's skiing, Lookout Pass, there's Missoula, right? Lost Trail. So there's a lot going on in this area. On top of that, you get river access. So every landowner in this little subdivision, Frontier River Sites, has an interest, 1/50th interest as described here, through the west 50 feet of lot 22 on block 1 of Frontier River Sites for river access, right? So that's pretty cool, right? These properties come with an interest in river access. And I'll pull these up on Google Earth to show you what we're looking at. This is the 1.5 acre. This is the 1.1 acre. So for those interested in buying both together, we will do that at a discounted price. I do think there's a lot of value to owning two legal lots. You get to build on both of them. You can have more building options, more development options. You can also resell one down the road, right? Or create a buffer zone between you and your neighbor. The nice thing is this land to the east of this property is actually owned by the county. So we shouldn't see any development. We shouldn't see any neighbors on that property right there. You can see there's access down here to this 1.5 acre. I can get on street views too. You can access that 1.5 acre off Frontier River Lane. This is a cool road here. And then you can get down here and see street views of the property too. The other property, if you're buying them separately, would be accessed off Highway 135. You can see other folks are putting driveways in off 135 as we kind of go up and down here. So that's not uncommon to put some sort of driveway in off that. So, the next thing I want to talk about is land use, right? We talk about the location, and I can pull it up one more time here on a bird's eye view. I'm just copying and pasting these coordinates in here in Google Maps. And you can see, that drops me down here. We've got a picnic area, right? You've got the Clark Fork. You've got all these recreational sites. You've got Quinns Hot Springs. Like I said, look through some of these photos when you guys are doing due diligence on this property. But you've got Quinns Hot Springs, which is a fun little place for locals to go hang out. You've got the Clark Fork River Lodge, right? I mean, there's a reason why there's lodges, why there's outfitters, why, there's this stuff going on along this road because, it's a popular place for recreation. Why do I say that? These two properties are surrounded by public lands. So this coloration, let me zoom in a little bit to show you the properties. You can see private land ownership has no coloration. So these are our two lots combined. Makes about 2.55 acres, 2.6 acres, right? We're splitting some hairs at that point, but these are our two lots combined. And you can see that there's very little private land ownership available on the Clark Fork. As I zoom out, you get some pretty big landowners, but the majority of property is national forest. It's Lolo National Forest. And so, just hundreds of thousands of acres, right? And you've got hiking trails. I can see on Onyx, this is my favorite app for land viewings because you can actually see the property boundaries, but you can see there's hiking trails. There's great hunting around here. There's access points to the river, right? If we zoom in, we can see little access points to the Clark Fork River, right? There's not a lot of public land. There's very few landowners that get to own on the Clark Fork. So as I zoom out, we can see Highway 135 between St. Regis and Paradise there's very few private, land ownership opportunities. And that's something I want to emphasize. Land is one of those assets. They're not making more of it in Montana, right? And this is truly kind of a hidden gem area. So, you're right off I-90. You can make your way to Lookout Pass ski area. You can go down to Lost Trail. There's hot springs all over here. There's hunting, there's hiking, recreation. So you've got a little bit of everything. Like I said, zooming out, this is Highway 135, Thompson Falls. We've got Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Sandpoint, Lake Pend Oreille, Flathead Lake is under an hour and a half away. Missoula is an hour away, right? So you've got Whitefish up here. I mean, it is a spectacular location here. So I won't keep going on that. I'm going to get into land use. There is no zoning with Sanders County. So you're really not that restricted with what you can do with the property. I'll kind of pull up, again, satellite imagery. You can see that look at all these people that have built homes, just one after the other, even along the river. So what does that tell me? All these other people are building on the exact same size properties, closer to the river, all around this one, right? You can see people have their homes and their cabins that they've built here. It's a pretty darn good sign these are going to be, developable properties. My business model is I sell all of our properties as is, right? We're asking our customers to do their own due diligence, and do your own homework. Go view the property on your own using the GPS coordinates, using Onyx maps, using some of those tools that I'm sharing in these videos. But there's really no reason. We have over an acre of land for each property, septic and well, that's going to be able to fit on over an acre of property. Now, if we were talking about a tenth of an acre, I'd be concerned. Can I get a septic and well within it? Probably not. I mean, that gets pretty small to fit both the septic system and a well. There are above ground options, but what's the point of talking about it anymore? I mean, we have over an acre of land in each of these properties. Every other neighbor has been able to fit a septic and well on their property. And get DEQ approval to do it, right? When it comes to building, there's obviously no guarantees, and really many properties you're probably going to be buying out there, but we can look at neighboring properties and see that everybody's been able to develop. This is high and dry ground, right? There should be no reason you can't put a septic system in on this property, whether it's below ground or above ground. There should be no reason you can't put a well in or a driveway, right? Everything checks out with these adjacent properties too. I mean, that all should be possible. Again, there is no guarantee. You got to go through the building process. You got to go through the permit process, through the site evaluation process, through the DEQ. That's going to exist no matter what property you buy. Going through that development process, I'm very confident you can develop on these. If not, there's a lot of other land use options a guy can do with this. There's shops, there's barns, there's RV sites. There's opportunities to use these properties in more capacity than probably just building. There are some light when it comes to zoning. There's no zoning around these. So, there's going to be, like I said, a ton of opportunities. There are some light CC&Rs, frontier river sites. There are some covenants, right? I just browsed through these before the call. This is what the title company sent over to us. We'll have these in the listing so we can share them with you. Essentially what it's saying is the purchaser agrees to abide by all statutes and legal rules, according to the state of Montana and the county relating to water supply, sanitation, and sanitary facilities, right? Going through the county, going through the proper sanitation, permitting process to get that septic system. It's talking about, for the purpose of public utilities, right? These other landowners, electricity, things like that. We've got electricity right there at site. So including but not limited to electric, gas, phone, water, sewer, TV, cable, yada, yada, yada. A permanent easement over and upon across the realty described in the plat aforesaid. There's some sort of utility easement, which is very common, right? So that, again, doesn't concern me. There's not much that restricts my land use. This number 3 is saying you can't use a property as a dumping grounds. It says, it shouldn't be dumping or storage ground for rubbish, trash, garbage, and other refuse, right? You shouldn't park automobiles, bodies, or parts. It's not a junkyard. It's not an automobile shop. That's all really this is saying. It does say no animals or fowls shall be kept, raised, or cared for on the lands. So that's a restriction. I don't know how tight it's going to be with like chickens and stuff. But again, I'm just reading you a document that we've gotten from the title company back from 1970. In reality, maybe some neighbors have chickens. I don't know. No residential lot shall be subdivided. So what this saying, it's like the 1.5 acre that we have, you can't subdivide that into 3 half an acre lots and resell those for $75,000 each, right? And make money on this deal. So that's what that's saying is you can't subdivide them further. They want these minimum lot sizes. They want larger lots for landowners. And this fourth Fourth thing, what it's saying here is the covenants are going to run with the land unless it's waived by the owners or 75% of the lots in writing, acknowledged, filed in the records of Sanders County, things like that. So we'll have this on the website. Again, these very light covenants. In reality, I don't know how enforced they are, but I do want to share those with you. Again, we're offering an as-is model. We're offering a self-service model with these properties. So take a peek at them, use the GPS coordinates to go visit them. All I'm doing is copying and pasting these coordinates to check out where these properties are located right here. Camping and RVs are allowed as far as I can tell. Again, confirm all your own due diligence and information. We do sell all of our property as is, as I mentioned. So again, my favorite app for these land viewings is going Onyx Maps. And that's what I've got for this property in a nutshell. I do have some other land investments outside of Butte, Stillwater County, and some other areas in Montana. So make sure to check out the homepage, see what we have available. So Miles McLaughlin here at Wilco Land. I'm closing out. Hopefully that video was helpful. Give me a call if you have questions, 605-250-1256. Thanks for tuning in.